Welcome to 3-Way Fit. I'm your relationship coach, Melissa Daggett, and today we're going to talk about 3-way love. Now don't worry, it's not what you think. But before we begin, if you like my channel or you want to follow my content, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you want to get future notifications for all of my videos, click the bell. If you're not on YouTube, maybe you're on social media, you can follow me at Facebook at Melissa Daggett or also at 3-Way Fit on Facebook and on Instagram, 3-Way Fit. So we have lots of content coming out, and we have a new app coming out called, you guessed it, 3-Way Fit, where we talk fitness in health, finances, and your relationships. So we'll have lots of workout videos on there, Latin dance workouts, nutrition plans, and videos and information for how to get fit in your finances and your relationships. So it's going to be awesome, 3-Way Fit. But today, the topic is 3-Way Love. So it's going to be a two-part video series. So in this part one video, we will have a video 2, but video 1, I'm going to talk to you about the 8 types of love according to the Greeks. And in the second video, I'll talk about the 3 C's of a healthy relationship. So, love. Let's see. Who wants to talk about this topic? Because everybody's so frustrated and nobody really believes in it anymore, or a lot of people have given up hope and stopped even trying to have good relationships. Well, I'm a lover of great relationships. I'm a life coach, certified life coach. I'm also a financial advisor. And more importantly, I want to show you how to have great relationships. So that's the whole point of everything I do. And love, it's really been misunderstood in all of its many definitions, expressions, and elusive attempts to capture something that's just out of our reach, it seems like many times, especially when it comes to feeling like you can sustain it or make it last, or, you know, so many people are just confused by it. We only have like Hollywood romances to go off of. We've tried to capture it and define it, but I'm hoping to clarify some things for you today and talk about the different types of love and sort of clarify how we can wrap our heads, much less our hearts, around it and become greater in love and our capacity to experience it. So many people are frustrated by the lack of true love in action and relationship failures in general. So let's just talk a little bit about this complex subject of love. Stay with me here. And more importantly, how do we find the love we crave? That may be the wrong question, as you will see, though, by the end of this video. So whether you are in a current relationship or whether you are just dating, it's important we explore love in all of its many facets, because we can all improve in love no matter where we're at or what kind of relationships we have. We can all learn how to love the people right in front of us better every day. And we can make every relationship better by simply understanding this. Think of it like a diamond with many facets. The more we understand the many facets of love and the 8 different types of love I'm about to talk about, the more brilliant we become in our relationships as we practice it, right? So the truth is, you attract what you become. If someone is not in alignment with you, don't chase them or get out of alignment with yourself or get angry or try to force things to get what you truly want. Simply keep yourself in alignment with love and with your true desires and become that, and you will attract that. So that's my overarching statement. Let go of anyone or anything not in your field of alignment. The minute you begin to chase or force, you become out of alignment. Stay true to your heart and yourself. So let's begin. The ancient Greeks studied love and classified them into 8 different types. They studied everything from public speaking to the stars in the universe, and love is something they were very fascinated with. So let's take a look at the different types of love so you can better understand your own relationships. Okay, number 1 is Philia. Philia is that friendship type of love. It can also be translated phileo. And that's why we'll be attracted to friends like birds of a feather, people we have in common things with, and we just enjoy being with them. We enjoy the same activities. We enjoy shared life experiences. This is an important love to have in your romantic relationships as well, because it's a great foundation. When you enjoy truly being with somebody and doing some of the same activities and having things in common, that's a great foundation that will last you for a long time. But we always have this type of love for our friends. This is philia love, okay? I'm just going to touch briefly on the definitions and then get into more of the meat of how we apply it. The second type of love I want to talk about is Philia, not to be confused with Philia or Philia. And this is self-love. Now, a lot of people today think that self-love, there's different ends of the spectrum. A lot of people think it's healthy and good. Other people think it's narcissistic and bad. But the Greeks really thought it was a good thing, and it wasn't the narcissistic form of love that we talk about today where you're selfish and just concerned about yourself. It's actually the opposite of that. It's more about, think about self-compassion and self-care. So what self-love truly is in its healthiest form is taking good care of yourself, having empathy for yourself, not being overly harsh on yourself with your flaws, accepting yourself as you are and showing yourself grace, compassion, love, taking good care of your body, taking good care of your mind. All these forms of self-love, self-care, self-compassion are going to overflow to others. So if you are not being good to yourself and you're overly harsh with yourself and overly judgmental of yourself and always negative in your mind and in your energy, that's probably how you're going to treat others. And if you don't, it will be your closest personal relationships, it will start to come out and bleed into that. And negative energy is never good. So that's why it's so important that you learn Philia. You learn how to take good care of yourself, how to know the difference between pushing yourself and challenging yourself and self-rejection, okay, which is going to that extreme of perfectionism. So learning how to love yourself in a healthy way includes, like I said, being compassionate with yourself so that you can exercise the same toward others. You cannot give others what you do not give yourself, and you can't give to others what you don't have yourself. The next definition, the next type of love, according to the Greeks, is storge. And storge, it sounds a little weird, but it's like, it's not too different from the first, the Philia, in the familiar love, but it's more like a mother with a child or a brother and sisterly love. You're very familiar with it, and through lots of familiarity, you have love. So it can be something that you actually develop over time with your mate as well, because as you become more familiar with them, you grow deeper in your love for them, hopefully. The opposite can also happen, though. Familiarity can breed contempt, or it can breed a sense of taking someone for granted. So you have to be careful there. As you become deeper and more familiar with your partner, you have to learn to also see them with new eyes every day and not limit them to your past experiences with them, but let them continue to look at them in wonder and with fresh eyes every day. That's not always easy when we become familiar with somebody or used to them, but one of the things I really challenge in a lot of my courses that couples to do is, if you're becoming bored with the relationship, you're probably bored with yourself. So you have to learn how to reinvent yourself and make yourself more interesting. That's why self-love is important. Self-love includes investing in yourself, investing in self-help, investing in things that make you more interesting to yourself. If you love your life, and that's what my whole Love Your Life channel was about, and even my book, The Purpose-Driven Power Couple, it was about falling in love with your own life and becoming what you wanted to attract. So when you start to make yourself more interesting and expand your horizons and always push yourself to self-growth, that's different from rejection and perfectionism. This is where you're challenging yourself in positive ways and you're becoming more interesting. And as you become more interesting, your relationship becomes more interesting, because your relationship is made of what you bring and what your partner brings. So if either one of you is bored, it's probably your own fault. Look at yourself and your relationship with yourself and keep it interesting. Keep yourself a challenge. That's the key. The next one is Eros. Eros is the one we're familiar with from the Hollywood movies. It can be confused with lust. It's the romantic love. It's the sexual love. And a lot of people think, oh, well, that's, it's going to just die out. It doesn't have to. Again, keep yourself interesting. Keep yourself attractive. Keep working on your body. Keep working on your vibe. And don't just be with your partner. Have activities together, but have activities outside of each other so that you're more interesting to your party. You're more interested to your partner, and also so they can look at you from afar and go, wow, my partner is hot, right? This doesn't mean you want to do too much. Like, I'm not talking about where you live separate lives. I'm talking about where you have enough togetherness and enough separateness that you still long for each other, that you still miss each other, that you still want to be together. Yes, that initial phase of, the intense fire and the intense flame that Eros is known for, we can't sustain that over a long period of time, meaning you can have that really, really hot relationship, that hot chemistry, that hot connection, and then, you can't sustain that for a long period of time. Nobody can. It's just too intense. It's too much to bear. So then it starts to calm down, and we have recovery. Not to be too graphic, but that's what happens, right? There's a recovery period where you recover from the intenseness of the emotion, the intenseness of the passion. But hopefully you'll be able to, after the recovery period, come back to that and experience it again. Create passion, create excitement. Get as creative as you want to get, but really this is about creativity. You should always be thinking, how can I turn my partner on more? How can I plan more romantic dates? How can we keep it alive, exciting, fresh? You should always be growing in your desire for your partner. And if you're not, one of you has become bored with your own life. Okay, the next one is Pragma. And Pragma is the enduring love. This is couples you see that are like 60 or 70 years old and they're still holding hands and kissing and they still love each other, and it's a deep love. It's a deep bond that's lasted the test of time. This is fewer and far between today because we live in an instant gratification society where everything is instant and we have very little patience to develop things long term. And as soon, we also live in a very, I hate to say this, we've always been selfish as human beings, but when you become selfish and impatient, you're thinking short term. Sadly, though, those people who think short term and who never want to invest for the long term, they're going to end up one day waking up and not really having much to show for all of that. So I still believe in long term Pragma with the right person. And I'll talk about what the right person is in video 2 of this segment, in the second part of this, where we talk about the 3 C's of a healthy relationship. But I think if you have the right relationship and you're both equally investing, and you should be able over the long test of time to keep reinventing yourself, to keep your relationship fresh, and to have also something that's much more than just Eros, but something that's very deep and very satisfying that many people never get to experience because they give up too soon and they don't work through a lot of the things that would take them to that next level. Okay, let's talk about Ludus. Ludus is the playful love. Now, this is one that I love to talk about because it's something you can always interject no matter how long you've been with somebody, and it's an instant way to improve your relationship. Stop taking yourself so seriously. I mean, if you're always intense and you're always about work, and you're always like either fighting or working or just taking everything seriously, always intense about the kids' activities, you need to loosen up and relax, okay? You need to be a child again. You need to play. You need playtime with your partner. You need to have a playfulness in your attitude. You need to be able to joke with each other and laugh and not take yourself so seriously. This is what we have when we're in the initial phases of courtship and we're sort of flirting with each other, right? We're playful, we're flirting. Isn't that so much fun? You can't wait to see them again. You just feel giddy, you just feel alive, you just feel lighthearted, there's no pressure. Why, after we get into some sort of long-term committed relationship, do we stop that? Because that's something you can choose to do. It's a choice. Choose to develop your sense of humor, develop your funny side. Now, everybody doesn't have to be a comedian, but everybody's got a sense of humor if you look for it, and if not, try to develop it. But try to, whether it's just enjoying your partner or being a kid, find that kid in you. What did you enjoy as a kid when you didn't take yourself so seriously? Put that into your relationship. If you don't have it right now and you've been in a relationship a while and things are kind of dead and boring, try it and see. Like even in the bedroom, be playful. Okay, the next one is Mania. And this is probably the only one that you got to kind of be careful about, and it can really destroy relationships because it's a possessive sort of jealous love. I need to put this all in context because mania it doesn't mean that you should never be jealous. You need to have a healthy sort of jealousy. If you never are jealous in a relationship, then maybe you don't care enough about your partner. So jealousy within boundaries is okay, meaning it's okay to want to be special and the main object if you're in a long-term relationship, a committed relationship, right? And it's okay to say, hey, I should be special, and there's a certain way you treat your partner and you flirt with your partner that you don't do with other people of the opposite sex. There's certain things that are just reserved for that special relationship. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. If you and your partner have an agreement and you have a different standard and values, that's fine. I'm just explaining within people that value having a long-term committed relationship and they want the rules to be the same. That's the most important thing about this, is that if you don't want it to turn unhealthy in the mania form of love, just have an agreement up front that these are the boundaries of our relationship. We both have platonic friendships. These are the boundaries around those friendships. And as long as you both play by the same rules, then you can be comfortable and relaxed, and you're not jealous, and you trust your partner. And really, it's such a beautiful thing when you can trust the other one and not be jealous and not be insecure and not be anxious. You won't ever have to worry about this mania. The mania type of love is the one that, in my opinion, there's some kind of deep insecurity. And whether that's motivated by your partner's behavior or it's just something innate that you need to work on, probably the latter at least a little bit. If you're so insecure that everything makes you jealous and you're really possessive, then you've got some self-work to do, because you're never going to have a healthy relationship as long as you have that. If, however, your partner is doing things to trigger that and doing things to make you uncomfortable and doing things that are making you feel insecure in the relationship, that needs to be confronted and approached, and they need to have more respect for the relationship. And if they don't, I say, don't try to force or change anything, just move on. And, you stay in your value system, you stay in your center, you stay in what I talked about in the beginning, you stay in your energy field and what you really want and what you value in a relationship. But there should always be respect, and there should always be a loyalty there, and the rules should always be the same no matter what you decide they are. Okay, the next one, the last one, I saved it for last, is the one we probably have heard a lot about, is called Agape love, or the unconditional love, or the God love. It's such a beautiful thing, and very few of us know this type of love because it's very hard as humans to experience it unless you truly do have a spiritual side or a spiritual connection with God, because as humans, we are imperfect. Our love is imperfect. Our motives are imperfect, and we fail miserably at love. Just look at the divorce rates. Just look, not even divorce rates, the number of relationship failures. We are failing in this area. And what agape love really is about is loving someone in spite of their flaws, loving someone unconditionally, choosing to stay with them, and and work on the relationship through the hard things. And I'm going to talk about how to do that in the next video with the 3 C's. But agape is also who God is. It's the essence of who He is. So it's been said that love is a verb, but it's not just a verb. I agree that it's a verb, and you choose to do acts of love even when you don't feel like it. And that can be a form of unconditional love, to where even when I don't feel like it, I'm going to do acts of love for my partner because I have something deeper than my feelings, and I do love them. But it can also be a feeling and an emotion. It's the motive behind the act. And it's also, because God is love, it's a person, so it is a noun. It's the essence of who He is. Everything He does is motivated by love, whether it's showering blessings upon us, whether it's protecting us, providing for us, doing things we're not even aware of, and even sometimes disciplining us for our good. The highest form of love, wanting us to be our best selves. That's agape love. And agape love, when you start honing in on that, what you're going to feel is you're going to feel, first of all, unworthy. Like, I'm unworthy of this type of love. When you realize, and I'm speaking from a spiritual perspective, not everybody's going to agree with me, and that's okay. This is just my perspective, but I'm going to share it because it is my perspective. I just want everybody to experience that kind of love. It's the most amazing thing on the planet when you know that you're loved for exactly who you are. It's such a gift. And my late husband loved me that way, but not perfectly. Only God loves me that way perfectly, and I've experienced that over and over in my life. And when you feel that, that's the only way you can give it, because you can't give something you haven't received. So when I started feeling more of that and experiencing more of that, I was actually able to do something I never thought I could do, and that is to love my enemies. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Jesus had this unconditional love, and He loved even His enemies and forgave them. And I believe He wasn't just doing that as a selfless act, but also to show us how to love better. That He even said to His followers, you love those who love you, you do well. But I say to you, and He's giving them a challenge here, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. Love those who intentionally treat you badly. And I thought, how is this possible when I read that verse? How is that possible? All I want to do is get revenge or get even with them, or at least I don't want to wish them well, and I'm hoping karma bitch pays them back, I don't have that kind of love in myself, so I asked God for it. I prayed for it. And supernaturally, He actually gave me that. And I was able to not just do good to my enemies, but to actually do it from a good motive and heart, not just saying, I'm going to do good and heap coals of fire on their head. No. I actually started feeling compassion and love, and that it was just almost overwhelming, actually. So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, the agape love. And I think if we could hone in on more of that, we'd be more forgiving, we'd be more gracious, we'd be more merciful to others, we'd be more patient. And I would encourage you to read the love chapter, 2 Corinthians 13. It does talk about love is patient. And I lack so much patience. Love is patient, love is kind. It's not easily provoked, things like that. The scriptures have a beautiful definition of that. But also, now that I've given you the 8 types of love, think about all the different people in your life. We love many people, right? We can love many different people. But to prepare you for part 2 of this video series, the part 2 is going to be, just because we love someone, love is not enough. When you hear the phrase love is not enough, it's actually true. And the context is love is not enough for your soulmate or your lifelong partner. And the reason it's not enough is you need to have more than just love to find your true soulmate or partner that you will be compatible with, that will be a great relationship. Love has to be a starting point, though, for sure. So develop as many of these types of love as you can for your partner. Be good friends with them. Be patient with them and let it develop over the long term. Be playful, be romantic, be sexual. All these are good in terms of your long-term relationship. But also think about how you can love your friends better, how you can love your family better, how you can just be a more loving person and become more loving in general. In the next part, the next second video, video 2 of this 2-part video, I'm going to talk about the 3 C's of a healthy relationship, 3-way love, and how if you can find these in your partner, and then you've probably found a good match. So I'll see you there, and it's going to be right after this video. So again, click on subscribe if you're in YouTube, click on the bell, and stay tuned for the next video.